Is your insurance company making you healthy or keeping you sick? That might sound like a crazy question, but are you getting tired of how much you're having to pay for insurance? Have you noticed your premiums go up every year? You're getting less for the product, even though your premiums are going up. Your deductibles also going up. What's called your co-insurance is going down, meaning maybe 5 years ago you had 80 or 90% coverage and now it's down to 60 to 70%. So you've probably noticed these things, I'm sure you have, but is it frustrating you? And did you ever associate these higher payments to your insurance company with actually worsening health care? Have you ever considered that the worse your health care is, the more your insurance company profits? Which I know sounds completely crazy, but I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, that that's the truth. So I have a lot of information that I want to go over, and here we go. If insurance really cared about your health and getting you better, one thing it would really focus on is heart disease, our #1 killer, and type 2 diabetes. The cost of just these two degenerative diseases, which kill a tremendous number of Americans every year, but just the cost of those two is estimated to, in the quite near future, bankrupt the US healthcare system. They're that expensive. Yet, nobody argues the fact that research shows that heart disease and type 2 diabetes, in the main, the vast majority of times can be reversed, and the treatment is completely natural. So it's just a simple question. If your insurance company was really behind you getting healthy, that would be what they would promote, right? Except they don't. For a very long time, I've wondered why I wasn't the insurance company's best friend. When I say I mean my team and doctors who treat like I do. And it's like, why wouldn't they love us? Why wouldn't they be excited about the fact that we get people off drugs and we reverse degenerative disease? And so people clearly need to use their services less. Why wouldn't that be something they would love? I mean, I'm not against having health insurance. I think you should have the type of plan where you have a really high deductible, but it's there, meaning in terms of crisis care or something unforeseen, it's there for you after a high deductible, so it doesn't cost you so much during the year, but if God forbid something happens, they're there for you so you won't get bankrupt by paying for your health costs. So it always perplexed me. When the Affordable Care Act was passed, also known as Obamacare, Obamacare was trying to handle some of this by saying, okay, insurance companies, we want you to have less profit and put more money toward patient care, which sounded great. So they wanted to take it up from about 70% that your insurance companies were paying toward patient care, meaning they had 30% going toward their profit. They wanted to take that to 80 to 85% going toward patient care, so only a 15 to 20% profit. Well, needless to say, the insurance companies weren't thrilled about that. They railed against it. They said, you're going to put us out of business, patient care will suffer, blah, 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 blah. But of course it did pass. And but insurance companies are very clever, their employees are very clever, and they found a way to get around it. They did 3 different things. One, they increased the size of the pie. So, if you're making, $100 million, they make a lot more, and 30% goes to profit. If you up that to $175 million, but only 15 or 20% goes to profit, you're still doing better, right? So if the pie is bigger, if your percentage toward profit is lower, it doesn't matter because you've increased the size of your pie. Now, there's a great book I would like to recommend for you if this interests you. It's called An American Sickness, and the last name of the author is Rosenthal. So this is a new book, 2017, so it's called An American Sickness, and I'm going to use her quote. She said that after Obamacare occurred, there was a perverse motivation to tolerate big payouts. Okay, so very well said by the author. So why was there an actual motivation to tolerate paying out a lot of money? A couple of reasons. They needed to increase the size of their pie, okay, because they needed to make the pie bigger so their profit wouldn't go down. And indeed, their profit has only increased year over year since the Affordable Care Act passed. So they didn't lose their profits. They very cleverly circumvented the system. An example she gave in her book was a gentleman who had a disease. It was an autoimmune disease, and he had a very expensive drug. This drug cost $19,000 a month, which his insurance was paying. He was a school teacher. School teachers often have great insurance, and the insurance was paying out. His doctor stayed the same, the patient stayed the same, the drug stayed the same. One thing changed. The doctor changed hospitals. So of course his patient followed him to his new hospital just down the street. It wasn't far. And now the drug that cost $19,000 cost $131,000 per month. So about a sevenfold increase. And his insurance company didn't say a thing and kept paying for the drug. Now, most people would say, all right, that's great, but the patient said, this is ridiculous. How could this possibly be? It's the exact same drug. And it actually had to do with a number of different things, and the quote, follow the money, is really very, very much our theme here, unfortunately. But the new hospital actually had the patent on that drug, and the more they made on the drug, the more they got back from the pharmaceutical company. Plus, this leads us into our second aspect of how insurance companies circumvented Obamacare. So one, they made the pie bigger. The other thing they took advantage of was the fact that they get rebates for drugs you take. And you might not have known this. I didn't, because we don't specialize in drugs here other than getting people off medications. So it's legal. It's a rebate. It's not against the law, but your insurance company, every time you take a drug, they get 30% or more, sometimes as high as 65% back from the pharmaceutical company. And there's a middleman between the pharmaceutical company and your insurance company, but we're going to be talking about that in a future video. But suffice to say, they get a rebate. So of course, in the example of the drug going from $19,000 to $131,000, I have my math here somewhere, their rebate went from what is this? Sorry. Their rebate went from $5,000 a month to $39,000 a month for the insurance company. So it was a win-win. They had to put more money out there to make the size of their pie bigger, and then they got the higher rebate back from the drug. So then their third aspect of what they did was to, in order to cover any possible shortfalls, but remember they have been increasing in their profit, they raised your premiums, as we started with, raised your deductibles, and lowered your coinsurance percentage. So all of this went into a very clever mathematical system of how they were going to continue to thrive despite Obamacare, basically. But here's the main message, is your insurance company is not there to keep you healthy. They actually do better. They thrive. Their profits go up if they keep you sick. So you're not going to get the recommendations of treatment that will naturally get rid of your degenerative disease, your chronic disease, whatever you have. They'll give lip service to it, but they're very quick to say, oh, Americans won't change their diet, Americans won't change their lifestyle, here's your drug, and by the way, I get 30% rebate. So they do better when you're sick, is the unfortunate total message here. So how do you circumvent that? Definitely have insurance, but you can get sort of the high deductible, as I was mentioning, and take advantage of what's available to you, which are programs that will naturally get you well, naturally reverse your disease, get you off medication that you don't need because you have really reversed the problem, and realize all medications have side effects, so there's always a liability associated with them. This is available. So here, it's available here, meaning in Saratoga, California, Silicon Valley, but we are also a destination clinic, so we see people from across the country and around the world. We have a lot of international patients as well. But I want you to know that we need to rethink how we think about insurance. So sometimes patients say, well, if my insurance doesn't cover it, then maybe it's not right. No, if your insurance doesn't cover it, it means it's not profitable for them. So we have to do a little bit of a mind shift about how we think about this. Because if they really cared about your health, they would be covering these things that actually reverse disease. Does that make sense? I really want your feedback from this video. I want to hear what you think, and there's going to be a series of these. Everything I just reviewed with you is in a blog on our site. It's about to go live, so it's rootcausemedical.com. But if you're tired of this being caught in this web and you really want to get healthy, then that's why I'm here. So reach out, give me a call, and we can conduct a free consultation, either in person or over the phone. And the telephone number here is 408-733-0400. I'm going to look at my notes, see if there's anything I left out. No, I didn't. Okay, good. That's everything I wanted to tell you. So please give me your feedback. Please share this with others. This is information that's not widely available. I've been doing a deep dive into this research for several weeks now because it's becoming very, very clear, not only speaking to executives at insurance companies, but sort of really seeing the handwriting on the wall that less and less of this type of care is going to be covered, and your insurance company really wants the expensive treatments and the expensive drugs because they do best that way. So I hope you enjoyed this, or at least it was revelatory for you and you learned some things. Share it with others, and I'll talk to you soon.